I'm Musty Hobbit, and there's nothing that a Hobbit loves more than another helping of second breakfast, so welcome to the channel. And for those of you unfamiliar with the channel, I like to talk a lot about video games. I have a fairly modest collection, but I do like to share that, and that is what we're going to be doing today. I was recently tagged in a video by fellow YouTuber VidyaGamer. Ryan is also the host of the Weekend Rental podcast. But he tagged me in a video that he did, which I will link in the description, talking about the 5 NES games in his possession that are deemed the most valuable at this point in time. So I decided, since I have some NES games to go through and pick out the 5 that currently are charting at the highest value. Now, there are 2 pricing sources that I use, one of them being price charting, but I do like to use Game Value Now quite a bit. One of the reasons I like Game Value Now is that in addition to the pricing structure, which they tend to do a good job of weeding out some of the anomalies when it comes to pricing, I feel like the extreme stuff kind of gets taken out of the mix, so you don't find those strange spikes in pricing based off of one bad listing throwing off everything else. In addition, Game Value Now also adds a pretty robust collection tracker, and so you can actually go in there and it breaks it down by system. They even have the ability to add hardware at this point, and it tracks the overall flow of your collection in value, and so it'll actually month to month tell you you're up 3%. It's fairly basic, but I really like it, and it serves the purposes that I need. Anyways, on to the games. I will go in ascending order with the 5th most, and I'm only doing loose carts here. I do have a couple of complete in-box titles, but neither of them are overly expensive. We'll go ahead and start with Dragon Warrior 4, which I got this at the Barrie Game Exchange in 2017. It was the trip I took up to Canada last year. They had, the vendor itself had 2 copies of this, and both of them were at a price that was a little above what I wanted to pay. So I picked the nicer one, because this one had a little bit of a divot in it. Asked him if he'd come down on that price, and he said, you know what, I'll do better than the price you're asking if you take this one. And so this little divot here sure hasn't gotten in the way of me playing it. Granted, I haven't played it yet, but we'll get there eventually. But Dragon Warrior 4 was one of the great pickups that I had from that Barrie Game Exchange last year. Number 4, and one of the bigger pickups that I picked up the first time I went to the Portland Retro Gaming Expo in 2016, this is Mega Man 5. And this was the last Mega Man that I needed for the NES run of 1 through 6. And at the time I traded a significant amount of stuff, plus a little bit of cash to pick this up. I think the ticket on this at the time was $100. I maybe out of pocket spent between $20 and $40 if I remember right. But this is in fantastic shape, and again, I remember this vendor having multiple copies and letting me kind of pick which one I wanted for the price that we had agreed upon. But it is, yeah, in wonderful shape, and Mega Mans are always, they always seem to hold value, and Mega Mans are just, people who adore them very much. I like them a lot, although I haven't really dabbled outside of 1 through 3 at this point. Number 3 is one that I picked up through a trade through an old Facebook group that I used to do a lot of trading in, and that was the Iowa Retro Gamer Nation, a guy named Adam. And this was one of the few NES titles that was left on my list when I was working through the top 100. I had a top 100 list of games from IGN that I was working through. And so this is Gargoyle's Quest 2. This is the sequel to Gargoyle's Quest on the Game Boy, and again, the, I guess, pseudo-prequel to Demon's Crest. And so, again, good price here. And again, depending on Game Value Now, this one, I believe, is on one of the pricing is less than Mega Man 5 and more on the others. So those 2 kind of flip spots potentially. Number 2 overall, and one of the most recent additions to my collection, to the point where I don't even think I featured this in its own pickup video because it happened very early in this whole moving process this summer. But this is Bucky O'Hare, and I got this through eBay. So I got creative because early in the spring, eBay was throwing around a lot of these 25% off coupons that you could apply to any purchase. So what I did was I found a listing for a Bucky O'Hare because I really wanted the game, and I found a best offer and hoped that the guy would respond quickly. And so I put in my offer, which was a little bit, I maybe went $20 under what he had listed, and then when he accepted, I got to take 25% off of that new accepted offer. So if you do see those eBay coupons, use them to your advantage. You can definitely, if you can get people, I know sometimes there's certain thresholds or tiers as far as like how much the discount is worth in total. You might be able to get things to fall into other areas, as I did here, because I think I got him down $20 and then got 20% off of that. He still got paid his money, but I didn't have to spend quite as much. So this one again is super clean. At the time, it had a name written on it in Sharpie, but I managed to take that off. No problem. Sharpie's easy to clean up, especially on the sticker itself. And at number one, the most expensive NES game that I have in my possession was another one that I got at the Portland Retro Gaming Expo in 2016. And with this one, I had a bunch of stuff that I had brought for trade. I kind of got the guy to settle on a price for that, and then asked him for I then pointed to what title I wanted, so that way he couldn't kind of price me on the trade, knowing what it was that I wanted. And so I got him to look at my stuff. I forget what it was. I probably got, I think, $80 worth of trade, and then I had a little bit of cash that I needed to throw in to pick up Metal Storm for the NES. And again, this was one of the ones that was on that top 100 list that I was working on. And again, this game is super difficult. I really haven't sunk a whole lot of time into it, but it is a really cool mechanic. I love the gravity shifting. This one is worth the price of admission, and although granted the price of admission now is less than it was when I picked it up. But great title, and you should definitely look for it if you are an NES collector. This is one that you should absolutely have. So I want to again thank Ryan for tagging me in this video, and as tag videos go, it is now time to tag some other people. So I have a few in mind who are big collectors who some of them don't talk about their NES as much as they could, and some of them are all about sharing what they have on their shelves. And so I want to tag Do You Nerd? Both Tom and Lacey. They are the ones who got me into the Video Games Monthly unboxing kind of thing, and I know that they really love talking about their collection. So I want to hear from Tom and Lacey. I want to hear from Travis from the Polykill podcast. Travis is an avid NES collector. He's got some heavy hitters, and so I really want to see his top 5. Trav, make it good. And at last, I want to tag Mike from the Retrollectors. Now, Mike, I know, focuses primarily on Dreamcast, but I know that you too have some NES. So I'm curious what it is that you've got, and interested to hear what you have to say. So thank you to those who have checked out the video. Thank you again to Ryan Vigigamer for tagging me. Go check out his channel and the video. And I think he got tagged from Cartridge Fun, who I think started this whole little tag string. So go check out those guys. But thank you all for coming by. Room tour is coming really soon. I'm hoping in the next 2 weeks to have that put together for you. But so please stick around for that. Thank you for coming by. I have been Musty. Take care of yourself and be good to each other. Bye.